Now tell me your requirements. My requirements might be different from your requirements, bro. Okay, from a Christian man to another Christian man, here's my advice to what you should have in a relationship, okay? Now, obviously, some people's opinions may be different, but if you are a Christian man or even a Christian girl and you are seeking a relationship, these are the things that I think that you should require in a relationship. One, of course, is that they're Christian. They don't just say they're Christian, but they are like a devout Christian. You know, it's easy to say I'm a Christian, but you don't go to church on Sunday, or like you swear a lot, or you're doing drugs or partying or doing other things that aren't really Christian. So a true Christian, one that is devout, one that is faithful, that is true, one that prays and worships God the way that you do, one that believes in God the way that you do, and just is a true Christian. Like the one that's not only says it but shows it. I think that should be the one thing that is above all else, is to make sure that they are equally yoked with you. There's so many things that you could go into with being equally yoked, but one, of course, is being a Christian, like being a true Christian. That should be the one thing that you should put above all else, is when you're seeking a relationship as a Christian, is that they're Christian, that they are actually a real Christian, like a true Christian. True Christian. For me personally, a couple other things is like, obviously I need communication, I need honesty, I need truthfulness, I need trustworthiness. Like I require certain things from my partner, and those certain things may be different to other people. So it's all a matter of figuring out what you think you deserve, not think you deserve, but figure out what you know you deserve. Figure out what you absolutely deserve in a relationship, and don't settle for less than what you deserve. Figure out what you desire from a partner. Like, even make a checklist, bro. Like, seriously, my pastor gave me the greatest advice. Put a list of all the things that you absolutely need from a girl in a relationship. Not necessarily want. Like, it's okay to want things and compromise if she doesn't have it. But, like, figure out the things that you absolutely need from a girl in a relationship, and then make sure that she checks the boxes. And don't settle for not even one box unchecked. Because what you're doing is, if you put a list of things that you absolutely need in a relationship, and then you settle for one box unchecked, you are settling for less than what you deserve. And you don't want to do that, because honestly, in the long run, it's going to kind of bite you in the butt. And I could be wrong. Like I said, it's different for other people, but I think that's what you should do. My one biggest piece of advice also is to take your time. Be each other's friend first before being each other's boyfriend and girlfriend. Take your absolute time, bro. Be each other's friend first before you be each other's lover. Don't worry about when you're going to kiss her, like when you guys are going to hold hands or when you guys are going to hug. Get to know her. Like, get to know what makes her happy. Get to know what makes her sad. Get to know what triggers her, or like get to know her bad moods, and like what makes her upset. Like, you need to get down to the core of who she is, and then figure out if that's going to be the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. Like, and I know you're young and you probably aren't even thinking about that, but if you're dating somebody, don't just date somebody just for like the thrill of it. Like, we're talking about somebody's heart, you know? Like, this is somebody's heart and somebody's like emotions that you are getting involved with, and that's not something to just mess around with and just toy with. So not that you are, I'm not saying that you are by any means. I know that you're actually a genuine person, Kyle. I know that you're a good guy, and that you're a good man when it comes to girls. But I just have to say it. You have to really keep in mind, like, okay, is this going to be the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with? Take your time. There's no rush to figuring her out. You don't need to get to know every single aspect of her in one day. Like, there's some things that you may not know for a while, and that's okay. Like, you don't need to know her right away. Like, it's okay to kind of leave room for growth. But above all else, pray about it, man. Pray about God's grace. Pray for God's guidance. Because even though you are dating each other, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a part of God's will. So make sure it's a part of God's will first. Ask God what He's saying about it. Get God's approval. And don't just get God's approval because you think that's what He's saying. Like, truly, if you're unclear about what God is saying, then God is not saying anything yet. So keep listening. keep praying about it until you absolutely have a clear answer, like 100% clear answer. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just a bit of advice for me. I've been through a lot of bad relationships. It was before I became a Christian, and even in my Christianity, I've been in some pretty bad relationships. If I were to go about another relationship, 1, I would make sure she's a Christian, and 2, I would absolutely take my time. Get to know her as a friend first. Get to know who she is as a person. Get to know her tics, like her things that trigger her. If she has trauma, if she has pain that she's still healing from, like if she's even willing to commit to me, like you have to be very, guard your heart, bro. Like honestly, you know, it's really easy, especially for me, to fall in love with somebody too quick and to wind up getting hurt. So that's why I can't stress enough to take your time and to just like really get to know her. You know, sometimes it's okay to compromise. Not all the time will she be able to, you know, pick up her weight or carry her weight. Sometimes you got to carry the team. You know, it's just like Valorant or Apex or whatever game you're playing. Sometimes you got to pick up that weight and carry the team. And she may be sick some days, or maybe she's not really feeling well, or she's not there mentally, and you got to kind of carry the weight of the relationship. But it shouldn't be like that 100% of the time. You should not have to be the one carrying it every single solitary day. It has to be give and take. Sometimes it's compromise. Sometimes it's not 100. Sometimes you got to pick up the weight. And sometimes she has to pick up the weight. You know, some days you're maybe not going to be in 100% of a good mood, and she has to be willing to compromise. You know, it's not all about just, you know, you. That's why I'm asking you, because you have experience. You say wise things. You look like Jesus. Bruh. I'm not Jesus, but I'm hoping to be more like him every day. But I'm glad that that I'm able to give you advice, because I would like to say that I have a bit of knowledge about relationships that's good advice for people, especially like the younger generation that's getting into dating and whatnot. There's too many young ones nowadays. And I say young ones. When I say young ones, I mean like anywhere between like the ages of 8 years old to like 16 or 17. Like that's still very young. Even I'm young one. I'm still a young one too. But even at 24. Like, but for those that are like just getting into relationships at a super young age, like I know what it's like. Most of it's you, bro. Like most of it's like what you're willing to tolerate, what you are wanting from a relationship. But I think no matter who it is, if you're a Christian and you're getting into dating, I think no matter who you are and what you need in a relationship, I think every Christian needs to have a fellow Christian in a relationship. Now, does that mean there hasn't been relationships where there has been an atheist and a Christian that got married? No, of course not. There has been. But most cases with that type of relationship is they get together and they have two separate beliefs, and then the child gets very confused about what to believe, because maybe her mom's a Christian and maybe her dad's an atheist, but her dad does not believe in Christianity, but her mom does, and they're both telling the child different things, and they're getting mad confused. I actually just met a girl lately, not as a girlfriend, but like just a friend, who was born into this type of circumstance, and she's mad confused. So that's why it's so important to think about these things before you get into a relationship, before you get married, before you have kids. Like, there's so many things to keep in mind. As far as the I love you thing, I mean, who am I to say you can't say I love you at an early time? Maybe you do love each other. I think it's best to wait out for a while before you start saying stuff like that to each other. Like I said, being each other's friend, I think, to me, is the most important thing. The most important part about a relationship is getting to know the person, rather than just falling in love with maybe like what they do, or you got to fall in love with who they are. Like, you love every single bit about her, even the bad days where she's cranky and upset or whatever, you know. Maybe she's too good for you. Nah, bro, she's just right for you. She ain't too good. When you start saying, don't say stuff like that, bro, because when you start saying she's too good for you, that makes you less than what she is, and you're not. You guys, excuse me, you guys are at the same level. Don't say she's too good for you, because then that's kind of like self-deprecating. That makes it seem like you don't deserve her. You know, like, you obviously deserve her because you have her. If you didn't deserve her, you wouldn't. You know, that it's very, really careful with saying stuff like that. You're right, she's right, I'm right. For her, it's a balance. I won't let my bad side conquer me. Thank you, Casey. You're real and much more real friends than I had. You're welcome, man. I got you, fam. I'm here for you, bro. I'm here for all you, actually. Not even just you, but yeah, bro, I'm here for you. God must have already planned this moment when I was born. He did, actually. Everything happens for a reason, and God already knows what's gonna happen tomorrow. Like, he already knows what's gonna happen in 10 years. He already knows all the times that you're gonna sin again. He already knows all the times that you're gonna disobey him. He knows all the times that you're gonna obey him. He knows all the times that you might get hurt, that you are gonna make a bad decision, or gonna make a good decision. God knows every single solitary second of the rest of your life. And that's why we as humans don't need to worry about anything but today. And that's a hard thing to do, because I always stress about what's tomorrow. But all we have is this moment right here. Like, time is just like a figment of our imagination. There's no such thing as tomorrow, really, because, I mean, at any moment we could just go. Oh wait, I think I missed a Noodles comment. I don't know if Noodle is still here. You swear when you're on your mates when I laugh a lot, but I never use the Lord's name. That's good, bro. And I'm not saying it like you're a bad person for swearing. Like, of course, I'm not good at not swearing sometimes. Sometimes I slip up and all that stuff. But I think for the most part, it's you want to be like, you don't want to swear as a Christian. It says in the Bible to not let any unholy word slip from your tongue, or like I forget the exact verse, but you don't want to let any unholy talk come from your mouth. And usually swearing is a bit unholy. So without further ado, do you support my relationship? 100%, dude. As long as it's bringing you peace and it's this is the one thing you always need to ask yourself when you are getting into a relationship with another person, or if you're thinking about continuing a relationship with another person. This is the one question you always need to ask yourself. Is this bringing me closer to God, or is it bringing me away from God? And if that answer is bringing you closer to God, then 100% it's good for you. But if it's something that's not producing good fruit, it's not beneficial to your relationship with God, like it's bringing you farther away, it's not, not in any way bringing you closer, then it needs to go. But that's for you to answer, and that's for you to find out. But if that does, 100% I support it. If it's bringing you peace, if it brings you closer to God, I'm all for it. Because I'm all for the better of you and her, like, not just you, but I want both of you to be happy and to be secure, and not be put in a position where you're in a relationship that you don't need to be in. So if at any point you ever doubt the relationship, that's the one question that you need to ask yourself. Is this improving my relationship with God? Because at the end of the day, it's not just about you two being together, but you two being independently firm in Christ, and then also coming together to be one. So it's not about, oh yeah, I'm in a relationship. What are you doing, you goof? It's not about just being in a relationship to be in a relationship, but being in a relationship that's beneficial to your spirit, beneficial to the relationship with God that you have. Always put God first.